Welcome to the Right Mindset. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, as always. Today we are going to talk about staying productive, the power of journaling for writers, which is a tool, a method to keep the brain functioning. And I want to talk about the value of journaling in this video and why it is useful for writers and how you can use it to overcome creative blocks and find your rhythm. More importantly, it's also a place where you could jot down ideas and thoughts, especially if you're laying in bed and it's about time to go to sleep and you're like, I got a story idea. Let me just jot down some stuff and let's get into it. But, Thomas, what exactly is journaling? And that's a great question. So, journaling is a practice of writing regularly about your thoughts, feelings, experiences. But again, it's also ideas, anything that comes to your mind. For writers, this might mean jotting down reflections on your writing process so you can always become self aware, exploring ideas that you haven't yet fully developed, or even venting about frustrations you've encountered along the way. Because let's be honest, sometimes we can't say what's on our mind because we don't want to go to jail. It can take many forms, from free writing in a notebook to maintaining a digital diary. I personally like to just use my phone. Uh, think of journaling as a space just for you, no one else. A place where the words don't have to be polished, the ideas don't have to be perfect, and you're free to play with your creativity without the pressure of producing something publishable. Because most of the time when we write, we're like, this is stressful, but this is for you. These are your thoughts. Journaling can also act as a mental warm up that helps you shift into writing mode. But it's also a great tool for self reflection, a way to track your progress, set goals, and identify what's holding you back. The beauty of journaling is that there are no rules. It's your personal space to explore, experiment, and reflect without fear of judgment. More importantly, journaling allows you a chance to look back. It allows you to see your growth. It allows you to see what you've been dealing with and how maybe you've evolved from that. But it also lets you realize that you're a pretty interesting person. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. How to journal effectively. Yeah. If you're new to journaling, never tried journaling, or unsure where to begin, it's all about start simping. Start simple. Set aside 10 or 15 minutes at the start or end of your writing session or whenever suits you best. Of course, sometimes when I'm laying in bed, like I said, I'll just grab my phone and start jotting down some ideas. Whatever's on my mind. You might begin by writing about how you're feeling that day or describing the challenges you faced in a current project. You could also use journaling as a prompt to get you going, you know? Uh, think about what's one thing you've been struggling with lately, right? And or what's one scene that you've been having trouble with. I have a brainstorming folder in Google Docs. I connect to my phone and I brainstorm ideas that way. I challenge them. I think about cause and effect. Where would one thing lead to another thing? And it helps me really work out long form storytelling. I also like ideas just in general. What I'll talk about emotions, my emotions, the emotions I've dealt with, or whatever experiences, what I'm seeing in the world through medium. My thoughts on a story that I may have read or watched, and it helps me really study because story is my life, right? So I like to study all elements of it, and I use my journaling as an opportunity to really become self-aware, not only in my way of writing and my process of analyzing, but also in how I process story, people, and experiences. And the good thing is no one's really going to read it, so you can let yourself loose. The idea is to make sure that it's for you. It's a safe place, safe space, safe place for you. But over time, you will notice reoccurring themes. You'll notice certain situations that you find yourself in, et cetera, et cetera. It's really healthy. I started doing it a little bit before therapy. I don't do it every day, but I do. I do allow inspiration to jolt me to grab the phone. I don't hesitate with that. But during my writing day, my brainstorming sessions also are a form of journaling as well, because I think about these characters, so all right. Ugh, still having the breathing. All right, getting the most out of your journaling. To get the most out of your journaling, you need to practice. Right? You got to practice whenever you can. Like I said, I don't do it every day anymore, but when I first started getting into it, I did. Um, I've learned to how do we say, assimilate into my lifestyle and what works best for me. And that's the truth about anything: is you try it, and then after you get down what you like, you don't like, you start trying to adjust it and make it work for you, because everybody is different. And this is why trying different journaling techniques will help you. You might want to practice you might want to practice gradually journaling. You might want to reflect on just your day. You might want to practice understanding your emotions, whatever the case may be. It could even be goal setting. Start writing down some of the goals that you're interested in. Then, every day, every other day, every week, you might say to yourself, "Have I accomplished these goals? Where am I in comparison to these goals?" So that's good. You could take a chance to look back at your writing after a while. And by doing this, to get the most out of your journaling, you look at what you have done, you analyze it, you study it, and you make thoughts. What has worked, what didn't work, what surprised you, things like that. By doing this, it's really important that you start that it's really important, because you'll start realizing and start noticing patterns. You'll start noticing habits. You'll get a greater sense of who you are and what works and doesn't work for you. You'll also become more attuned to the things that hinder your progress and hopefully understand them. All right. It's important to always reevaluate. Even when like I have a business plan. So like every career should have a business plan. When I was in a band, I wrote a business plan. When I opened up my theater, business plan. When I got into acting, business plan. Comedy, business plan. When I decided to make writing a more aggressively full-time situation, writing plan, a business plan. And the reason is because in the business plan, in one of the areas, there's your goals, your 1, 3, 5, 7, and 10-year goals. So your journaling could be a process of organizing your goals, and then throughout, say, a quarter, every quarter, you go back and you go, all right, what did I write originally? Where am I now? And this helps keep you on track. So that's something I still do today, where I allow myself to track my growth, just so I could see where I'm not growing and where I am growing, and then I get to think, well, why am I not growing? I also like to use my journaling as an opportunity for immersion. I get to like practice the truth. And this means when I am writing down a day or an experience or a moment, I've talked about this in other videos, I will think about it in the concept of telling the story as an I presentation, I POV, first person POV. And I'll think about the sights, the smells, the touch, the tastes, what I had experienced emotionally, so instead of just sort of writing a fake character, I get to write the emotion of the memory through my personal experience. And this actually helps me with my writing. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to read it, but it is just an example of getting to experience the world through you. All right. With that said, let's get into the final thoughts. Journaling is a process that takes time, and there is no right way to do it except for the way that's right for you. The key is to let it become an extension of your creative practice, to use it as a tool to discover more about yourself as a writer and less of another to do. Think outside the box. If the traditional journaling feels stale, switch it up. Write as your protagonist. Explore the backstory of your world or draw maps and timelines in your journal. More importantly, remember, you could create a journal dedicated to your characters, or maybe the god of omniscient understanding of your world. remember that everything in your journal is going to be made up just as much as every story you create. So nothing is going to be permanent. It doesn't matter if you write it down or whatever. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to help you have a place where you can organize your thoughts, analyze your thoughts, and more importantly, go back and check out what you've been doing. So, if you write down a thought, it doesn't make it like, oh man, now this is there, and does that mean I have to do this? No. Like if you write down, oh, I gotta write 1,000 word this week, and you don't, like, you're not bad. It's not bad. It's okay. It's okay. So but journaling does not have to be time consuming or complicated. So allow yourself to have the freedom to be like, well, I will write today, but maybe tomorrow I won't. It's okay to write throughout the day. 3 minutes here, 5 minutes there, whatever. Every couple hours, you go, oh, yeah, I got a thought. If you're trying to get your brain going, decide to use journaling instead of trying to write a scene. Because when you're looking at the white screen, you're like, but you could just literally pick up the journal and just be like, I'm blanking out. And that's your impromptu. That's your prompt sentence. I am blanking out. And how does that make you feel? And like, what is it why did you sit down today? What was your goal for today? You sat down at the blank screen, or you sat down as a whole scene, but you're like, where do I start? And you just start talking about that. Where do I start? I don't even, because in therapy, it also helps you to process. So, that's the why questions, right? Oh, I'm not feeling very good, mentally, whatever the case is. And then, well, why do you feel that way? I don't know. I just, whatever. And then the conversation turns into a discovery of what is potentially bothering you. So it's the same thing with journaling. You could kind of explore, like, I'm sitting here at the blank page, and my goal was to write out the first scene of blank, blank, blank. And maybe it'll inspire you to just write anything. You never know. All right, next video in this series, we're going to talk about writing sprints, what they are, and how to use them. Question. Have you ever used a journal? Let me know in the comments below. And has it helped you? Is it something that really allows you to kind of like clean out your day and your experiences? And do you look back on them? If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. And remember, thumbs up helps me and the channel rise up. Okay, so with that, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Bye.